Hare Krishna.
Hariiiiiiibol.
Another lovely night at Kirtan.
Do one more. Bring another one on, baby.
All right.
Bring it on.
Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Govinda, Govinda, Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Govinda, Govinda, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Bolo Radha Ramana Hare Bo. Haribo, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Gopal. Haribo, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Gopal. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Gopal. Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Radhe, Govinda, Govinda, Gopal. Jai Radha,
Your name is Miss Cassandra. You're Maria.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. Yeah. I mean, the Kirtan works. I survived what would have been a fatal accident when my car back tire exploded when I was on the highway. I had a witness say I was driving straight in the lane, the speed limit, and just all of a sudden they saw the back tire explode. Yeah, I was in the front seat driving, so.
On your way here?
No, this was actually on the way back from Washington, D.C., but I'm saying how the Kirtan really works because that is normally not an accident that's survived by people in the front seat. No, I was driving, so I was in the front seat. I went through the windshield 50 feet away from the car where they found my body, yeah. But I was alive, yeah, I survived, so. Everything's okay. Krishna was there. Yeah, Krishna protected me. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, the chanting, it works, you know. Yeah.
What's the name you said?
Cassandra.
Cassandra. Let's welcome back Cassandra.
Thank you. I celebrated my 21st birthday here. Yeah, this is the place I celebrated my 21st birthday. I'm 28 now. Yeah. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, so what I wanted to do was do a little story,
Good.
a pastime with Kirtan. Sound good?
You gotta come in.
He says okay.
I'll sit on my lap.
So,
Yeah, he has the hurt fall side.
has anyone heard about Vrindavan here? Vrindavan is Krishna's place, right? As a baby, him and the gopis, the cowherd girls, and the gopas, the cowherd boys, had a lot of pastimes, very playful pastimes. And one of those playful pastimes we'll do tonight. We'll do with music. So there is one place in Vrindavan, it's called Kusum Sarovar. Has anyone visited that place? Kusum Sarovar. Kusum means a form of lotus. It's a type of lotus. Sarovar means lake. So it's a lake with flowers. During Krishna's time, 5,000 years ago, it used to be a beautiful garden. And that garden was where Radharani, that one in the black sari there, she is the source of all love. She is the primary gopi or cowherd girl. She and her girlfriends are picking up flowers. So when they pick up flowers, they run around, they play, and you will try to imagine that when you're seeing this. Okay? So imagine the girls are picking up flowers and running around. Try to sing along. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. see the girls running around and playing? Could you see them playing? They were playing, picking up flowers. Well, these are 5, 6, 7-year-old girls. Then comes Krishna. He's 5 years with his cowherd boys, friends. And he comes and starts creating some problem. Mischief. Krishna as a boy was very mischievous. So he said to the girls, this garden belongs to Sri Krishna. He is the king of Vrindavan, Vrindavan Chandra. He owns this garden. We are talking about pastime in Kusum Sarovar. When the Radharani and gopis were picking up flowers and Krishna comes and says, no, this is mine. And the Gopa friends are defending him. He is Vrindavan Chandra, he is the king of Vrindavan. You cannot pick flowers here. And the girl said, huh? They said, Radharani is Vrindavaneshwari. She is the queen of Vrindavan. She not only owns Vrindavan, she owns Krishna. She is the darling of Krishna's heart. So they are arguing. So the men will take part of the Gopas defending Krishna. Ladies take part defending Radharani. Let's do that? Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Girls will sing this way, okay? And the boys will sing Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Girls will sing Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Boys, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Remember, you are fighting. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Fighting has to end somewhere. Right? So what happens? Usually, who wins? Usually, Of course, Radha Rani wins. Always. So there is, Krishna says, yes, it's yours. You are the queen of Vrindavan. Let's play together. Forget our fight. So now we are going to sing together and play together. Okay? Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Together, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, with your heart, sing together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, बोलो वृंदावन धाम की, श्री कृष्ण भगवान की, श्रीमती राधा रानी की। Nice little story. Lisa, you want to sing?
Yeah. I mean, I just got here. I actually need to get
Okay.
into the thing a little more.
Yeah.
I got it from my family holiday party. My son, they came in the mail today. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hariiiiiiibol. Any second from now.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare
Hariiiiiiibol. Zeb, you wanna sing?
Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Rama bolo, Rama Rama bolo, Rama bolo, bolo bolo Ram. 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 Sita bolo, Sita bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Hanuman bolo, Hanuman bolo, bolo bolo Ram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Together. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram.
Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. One more time together. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Jai Sitaram, Jai Lakshman, Hanuman, Jaya Sitaram. Together. Jai Sitaram, Jai Lakshman, Hanuman, Jaya Sitaram. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram. Once again. Jaya Sitaram, Jaya Sitaram, Sitaram. Rama Bolo, Rama Bolo, Bolo Bolo Ram.
Rama Bolo, Rama Bolo, Bolo Bolo
Rama Bolo, Rama Bolo, Bolo Bolo Ram.
Rama Bolo, Rama Bolo, Bolo Bolo
Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Again, together. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Again. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. One more time, how as you can. Sitaram, 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 Sitaram. Rama Bolo, Rama Bolo, Bolo Bolo Ram. Last time, very sweetly. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Sorry, Bob.
Hariiiiiiibol. It's been a wonderful evening so far. Not that enthusiastic, yeah. Yeah. So today we'll do the second part of the seminar, the workshop. We talked about 3 different approaches last time. The goal-based, the process-based, and the identity-based, right? Well, before we start, let's do a little prayer. Shall we? 2 minutes. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala, Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala, Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala. Together. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala. 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 Everybody together. Radhe Radhe Govinda Gopala. Radhe Radhe Govinda Radha Govinda Dev Bhagavan ki jai. So the question arises before we go into the next. Why should you listen to this tiny guy who maybe does semi-decent jokes? Or is it because there is no option? Or is it because is a doctor, a scientist, or you are trying to seek truth. And when we speak from literatures that are apaurisheya, which means they are not under the purview of effects of living entities and are timeless, then there is no prescriptive method or there is no ulterior motive. What remains is truth. So, a person on a spiritual path is a seeker of truth. And then for us to really be on that path, there are so many forces that are against us all the time. Not just from outside, but from within. And therefore, we are trying to analyze and present certain ways and means to help each other continue or maintain and develop good habits that will help us on our spiritual path and also combat our bad habits. Sometimes it feels bad habits are so easy to latch on to, easily. Doesn't take too long for about one Netflix show. It's not too difficult to just go to the next one. It's actually too difficult to stop. Although we know that it's not really a good idea, but one day, one night, right? If I eat a lot of cookies today, which I mean, don't hold against me. If I do, I'm not gonna put up weight straight away. So it's easy to let go. Man. It's okay. I'm not becoming really fat straight away. It's okay. Once in a while, it's fine. Change takes time. And it works both ways, good and bad. Right? That's why when we set goals, we discussed last time, we set goals. Setting goals all bad. We last time talked about not so good aspects of it. But it's not all bad. Problem is we don't know how to continue to pursue those goals. Oh, well then, systems are that bad. We talked about the downsides of system-based approach last time. No. It's a step up. Why do we say that the identity-based approach expressed in Bhagavad Gita philosophy is better than the two? It's not that we can do without having goals or without having system, but without having dealt with the identity crisis, the other two methods are generally not sustainable. Well, then the question comes, if that's the case, where does this identity comes in first place? Right? Shall we take the last time's example again? Or a different one? The six-pack one. It's okay. Sometimes the goals like that, which we know are in the wildest dreams are not possible, they make good examples. So, if I have that dream, right, why do we have to deal with identity crisis? Is because I have certain identity already. right? And how does this identity develop? That's the question, right? Why I cannot be already a six-pack man? If my identity is already that of a comfort cookie man, then I have to change the scenario in order to reach the goal, right? So Bhagavad Gita explains where does this underlying identity comes to us, from which we have to shift to an identity that we want to eventually become. And that's called conditioning. We condition ourselves in a certain way. We may not even understand that. We must have seen people saying, oh, I'm not good at math. Oh, I'm not a morning person. Or I'm not this, I'm not that. By saying that or by doing those kind of things, we reinforce those identity within ourselves. And then it becomes unnatural for a person who keeps on saying, I'm not a math person, to even do a simple math. It's not that they cannot do it. They feel like, oh, that's not me. Right? So, as we develop this conditioning, it happens very slowly, subconsciously. One of the nature of mind is that through years and years and decades and lifetimes of human mind's experience, conscious mind takes a lot of energy. So mind by nature puts off things to subconscious mind that it thinks is not necessary.
Can you repeat that?
Conscious mind takes a lot of energy. So if I want to do something consciously, with my understanding that I have to learn playing this melody, so I need to put efforts into that, right? But unconscious mind, meaning most of us have certain routines set up. Like if we put on a shoe, usually we put on one shoe at the left shoe or the right shoe. When we do that all the time, we do not even notice that. It happens subconsciously because it's easy for the mind. Small things like that make our conditioning. There is one psychologist in 1970s, I believe. His name was Edward Thorndike. Anybody heard of his cat experiment? So he tried to learn behavioral changes in animals and apply it to humans. So he put a cat in a cage, and there was a purposeful lever. When that cat presses, would come out and have food. The cat doesn't know which button to press. So when the cat invariably goes into that cage, by nature they start looking around. And when they happen to press that lever, they come out and they get reward. So the first time this cat goes into that cage, on an average he did experiment with many cats, and on average it took them 10 to 15 minutes to figure it out. And then he did the same cat again and again and again and again and again. By the time he was done with his experiment, the cat was coming out of the cage in 6 seconds. Learned. Now the cat doesn't even have to think what to do when it is in the cage. It happens all subconsciously. It has developed a habit. So one's identity is also developed by our habits. And our habits are dependent on our identity. So it's a kind of a loop. Therefore, if we want to become somebody, then we have to develop habits that that kind of person would do. That's the approach that Bhagavad Gita teaches, identity-based approach. Understanding very well that there is patience that's needed. Suppose now here it's around 64 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the temperature that I put. I'm not sensing it, but that's the temperature. If I put an ice cube right here, what's the melting temperature for ice cube? It should melt at 64. You cannot have ice on 64. The water is not becoming ice. But the ice, if I put here, it's not going to melt straight away. It takes time. And if you say that at one stage it will start melting, until then, if you keep looking at it, nothing is happening. Is there actually nothing happening? Visually, there is nothing happening. One guy once went to a father at church, and the father said to him, "Go push that rock." And this guy was very obedient. The father said, "Well, push it." So he went and he pushed and he went and he pushed. Daily he was doing that. Kept on pushing. 6 months went by, kept on pushing. Big boulder. 8 months, 9 months, 1 year. Kept on pushing daily. One day after a year, he comes to father and he says, "Father, the rock is not moving." Father said, "Who said the rock is supposed to move? Look at your muscles. You're not supposed to move the rock, you're just supposed to push it." So, moral of the story is that when we develop certain habits, it takes time, right? So, for me to become a six-pack man, an athlete, doesn't happen overnight. Slowly. So it's basically like casting votes, right? If in an election, rarely ever you see somebody wins with 100% majority, 100% votes on their side. There's always some here, some there. It's same like us. If we want to become a certain person, there will be always some cases like Thursday night eating cookies. It will happen. On an average, to win though, we have to cast more votes towards the identity that we want to have. Eventually, we will become that person. That's the approach. Bhagavad Gita says, Abhyas yogena tu kaunteya, means to practice. One can become the person that one wants to. Now, since time is running, I don't want to take too long, but how to do that would depend on how do we understand. We need to understand the basics of how a habit is formed and the feedback loop. So there are 4 concepts: cues, craving, response, and reward. Any habit you take, these 4 elements are there: cue, craving, response, reward. Are you following me? There's usually a cue that sets us up. Suppose somebody is let's say, a gambler, and that person goes to Las Vegas, of all places. and goes into a casino and hears that ting, ting, the sounds of the machines. Those sounds for a gambler is a cue, is a trigger to go gamble. But for someone who has never gambled, never been to Las Vegas, that sound is nice music or not so nice music. Doesn't trigger an action. So cue is something also in that feedback loop is the first step. Is also very personal, and we will talk about each of these as our weeks pass by. But that's the first. When that person, a gambler, hears that, ching, that's a trigger, that's cue. What happens then? There is craving. That cue, that trigger is a craving. Oh my God, I need to gamble. I need to put some money on it. So then there is craving. The craving has developed. What happens then? In order to fulfill that craving, the person responds, goes into the machine and puts some money in, coins in. What happens? Reward. Reward of satisfying the craving. And the loop goes on. On my way to work, there's a bakery, and I smell the cookies. That's the cue. That's it. When I smell that, got the cue. It triggered a craving. I want snickerdoodle. Ginger molasses cookies. I want it. Triggered craving. What's my response? Pull into the parking lot. Grab a cookie. Put in mouth. Reward. My craving is satisfied. Now what has happened is, now a habit has been set that whenever I go to work, it gets associated with cookie. Going to work equals eating cookie. This is how habits form. So we will discuss in next weeks about how to break that loop. What Bhagavad Gita teaches us, how do we break that loop? And how do we develop those identities that can help us to cut that loop at each stage. At each stage, there are ways and means that we can stop bad things from happening, or we can develop good habits. And I'll stop there. If you have any questions, what we discussed today, we can take question, comment. Yes.
Just a comment. I was thinking.
You have a mic.
I was thinking, you could put that towards like meditation, but it's the work and effort. But it's kind of can call the same thing. Like cue, maybe it's just that like feeling of that restlessness, the mind's going a bit. Like
One can actually develop the things. So if I want to become a meditator, I can set up in such a way that whenever I put an incense on, I should get a cue. We'll discuss all of that in our next step. How do we set up cues that will trigger a response? How do we set an environment that will trigger a response? Just like a gambler doesn't need to do anything. Just be in Las Vegas, that's all you need to do. There's an environment all over. Like that, if you develop an environment of around the devotees, or if you want to start meditating, develop an environment, set a time. There are all these methods like implementation intention or habit stacking. These are all methods that we'll discuss next time. But sorry, yeah, continue.
oh no, I was just thinking that like, it does take time, especially for the old habits that, well, yeah. But then I feel like the rewards are way better for the stuff that requires more effort than just the simple rewards.
Yeah, Bhagavad Gita has a word for that. It's called Shreyas versus Preyas. These are two Sanskrit words, and I think we discussed that a long time ago, but just quickly. Shreyas means long time benefit. Preyas means immediate benefit. Immediate benefit of having cookies we'll have now. Long time benefit we had by chanting. So today we can have both, but in general we need to understand that of course this is prasad, so we will have long term benefit also. But yeah, there are studies about it. I don't want to go too long, but there are studies. Psychologists did studies about children who were offered toffees and were asked to wait for 10 minutes before having that toffee. If they do, they will get 2 toffees. And they did an experiment. Who will do what? Right? And they followed these kids over 20 years. And they saw in each and every case the kid that waited to get the 2 toffees were better student, went to universities, generally had good paying jobs, and did well in society. Patience. But we are going a step beyond that, because those are determined by our conditioning. Bhagavad Gita teaches us how to break that conditioning, how to go to the deepest self, that even if we have tendencies to eat that toffee, how do we develop ourselves that we wait? That study was, by definition, who, where, what. Bhagavad Gita would take us to change who we are and to be able to do what we want. Many times we know what we want to do, but we are not able to do. And that's the Bhagavad Gita's science. It goes to the deepest core of one's identity, not dependent on the conditioning that we have, but at the deepest core who we are. We are souls, part and parcels of the Supreme. If we can tap into that energy, then we can go beyond conditioning. We'll talk about that in future sessions when we talk about breaking this cycle of feedback loop. Any other questions, comments? We'll stop here, or
What, I just want to know where this is at, what chapter in the Bhagavad Gita?
what chapter in Bhagavad Gita? Second chapter. It starts. It's a pervading theme in Bhagavad Gita, but most of the concepts are in second chapter. And then there is fourth chapter and sixth chapter gives aspects of how do we tap into that energy. And the ninth chapter talks about the deepest form of knowledge. And then the 12th chapter talks about the highest form of yoga. So it's going up and up and up like that. What we are trying to do here is chop it up and present in a way that we can apply. Yes.
What's your favorite cookie at the cookie shop?
I said that in the class.
It's the white and black one. Or is it the white and black one? It's not the white and black one.
No,
it's the
Snickerdoodle
Snickerdoodle.
with molasses.
I was gonna make those at Christmas.
Okay, so we'll do nursing prayer and then we'll stop.
No, I love those white and black cookies. Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
The dog's smaller than my dog.
Yeah, he's one of the smallest dogs I ever. Yeah, he's always very fast. Yeah.
What's his name?
Echo. I call him Little.
He's very little.
He has a hurt paw right now, so I had to bring him with me so the other dogs don't jump on him.
जय जय हरि हरि बोल।